Why do we desire those who reject us? Why do we become obsessed with what slips away? Carl Jung, one of the greatest names in psychology, offers a deep and unexpected answer. What you reject on the outside is often what you also repress within. And that's where the paradox begins. The more you try to control desire, the more it controls you. In this video, we're going to reveal how the mechanism of reverse psychology plays out in our relationships and desires, not as a cheap manipulation trick, but as a mirror of the unconscious. We'll understand how rejection, far from being a failure, can turn into a powerful force of attraction. And the best part, based on Jung's ideas, you'll learn how to turn the no you received into genuine, authentic, and irresistible desire. Before diving into this hidden world of the mind, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Have you ever wanted something just because it was forbidden or out of reach? Picture this. You're at a party and someone attractive completely ignores your presence. Suddenly, they become the only person you want to win over. What just happened? The answer lies in an ancient psychological principle that still governs us. We desire what is scarce, inaccessible, forbidden. This phenomenon is explained by what's known as psychological reactance, a term not coined by Jung, but one that fits perfectly with his thinking. It describes our natural tendency to want what is denied to us. When something is taken away or was never offered, a near-automatic urge arises to reclaim that lost object. But Jung goes further. For him, desire isn't just a reaction to the outside, it's a manifestation of the unconscious. We desire what represents something unresolved within. And often, someone else's no awakens an emotional memory, an old wound, a forgotten part of our psyche. When we're rejected, we're not just dealing with the present moment. We're accessing deep layers of the unconscious. That's when desire intensifies, because we're no longer desiring the real person, but what they symbolize to us. Carl Jung developed the concept of the shadow to describe everything we repress or deny within ourselves. These are the impulses, fears, desires, and traits we don't accept, often because of morality, culture, or upbringing. When we project this shadow, we start to see in others what we can't face in ourselves. Now think, what happens when someone rejects us? That rejection can trigger something from the shadow, something we wanted to hide, but the refusal brought to the surface. And since the unconscious doesn't tolerate repression, it responds with obsession. The more we try to deny, the more desire grows. The other person's no lights the fire of what was already silently burning inside us. That's why so often we don't desire the person, but what they represent in our psyche: power, validation, beauty, or even the mother or father who never gave us enough affection. Desire is often a call for integration, and reverse psychology appears here as a powerful trigger. By denying us, by pulling away, the other person forces us to confront that shadow. And that confrontation binds us, not to them, but to what lies hidden inside us. Reverse psychology is often misunderstood as a manipulative tactic, but through Jung's lens, it reveals a much deeper mechanism. The unconscious is drawn to what challenges it. When you stop obsessively chasing something, whether a person, an answer, or a result, you make space for true desire to emerge. This isn't about playing games. It's a practical application of a Jungian truth. Desire grows where there is mystery, silence, and absence. In practice, this means stop chasing. Chasing reveals neediness, and neediness activates rejection. Own your value. The more you value yourself, the more you awaken the archetype of desirability in the other. Be at peace with absence. True magnetism lies in not needing and still attracting. Jung would say that when you stop projecting your desire onto the other, you begin to integrate it, and that makes you whole. And what is whole shines. The paradox is clear. The less you chase, the more attractive you become. Not because the other changes, but because you stop vibrating in lack and start vibrating in presence, in self-possession. Carl Jung didn't want you to become a master manipulator. He wanted you to become whole, to recognize your shadow, accept rejection, and transform it all into awareness. Conscious desire is born when you stop desiring out of lack and start desiring by choice. It arises when you understand that someone else's no doesn't diminish your worth. It just reveals something in you that still needs healing. Integrating the shadow is recognizing that yes, rejection hurts, but that pain can show you the path back to yourself. This is not about controlling others. It's about not being controlled by your own unconscious needs. When you no longer need the other to desire you, you paradoxically become incredibly desirable. Because true desire doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't scream. It attracts in silence, with inner strength, with presence. As Jung once said, "He who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens." Desire doesn't come from the lack of the other, it comes from our own absence. Rejection, when understood, is not a failure. It's an opportunity to look within and ask, what am I really searching for? Carl Jung showed us that everything we deny returns with doubled force. But if we have the courage to look at our shadow, to accept the no without despair, and to live desire consciously, we become magnetic, desirable, not because we need anything, but because we are whole. Comment below, have you ever turned rejection into self-discovery? Leave a like, share this with someone who needs to flip the script on rejection, and subscribe to the channel to keep exploring self-knowledge, Jungian thought, and deep psychology.